U.S. Farm Report at the Ag Connect Expo is brought to you by Case IH. For those who demand more, Case IH delivers more choices, more power, more accuracy, more efficiency, and more access to people.
Well, here we are at Ag Connect Expo in Orlando, Florida. We have an excellent panel with us today. Over here we have Jim Wiesmeyer from Informa Economics. We have the editor of Pro Farmer, Chip Flory. And we have Bob Utterback Marketing, also contributes to Farm Journal. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things that are important. The first thing I'm going to talk about that happened this last week, and that is what the government did for us in terms of releasing a new crop report. Chip, I'm going to agree with you on that.
Well, the crop estimate for corn in particular changed the game. The average trade guess going into the report was that we were going to inch the crop back just a little bit from the November crop estimate. Instead, we added 330-some thousand acres to the harvested acreage projection. We took the average national yield up to 165.2. It really changes the dynamics, not only from a supply and demand standpoint, but the technical damage that we've now done to the market over the last couple of days really changes the picture as we look forward. We might see a bounce, and the bounce could happen at any time. There's a lot of fund rebalancing that needs to take place in this market. We could see a bounce, but I think it's going to be a short-term bounce, and I think that is going to then turn into a bleed down into the March time period.
Bob, he mentioned the damage that's been done to the crop marketing in the last couple of days, what happened on this. Now, you indicated that you didn't agree with some of the other crop forecasters ahead of time, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're in agreement with the government either, right?
Well, yeah, I think I was going in with a little lower yield, but I was selling the crop very aggressively because I felt the profit being offered to the producers was a fantastic opportunity. So I was selling as a function of profit, not as much as I had any disagreement with structural yield. The problem now, March corn below 83 is a structural technical breakout to downside. You got support at 63 to 67. I fear if those are taken, the question that's really going to decide how bearish we get is all this fund money, does it follow its rules of blowing out from a trend orientation, or do they just stay in? I think that has a big determination. And also the other one is lowest wheat planting in 97 years. We've got 6.3 million acres of wheat acres that's going to come into corn and beans, so it takes away the threat of having to really buy acres next spring unless you have weather planting problems.
Well, my real question, and I'm going to ask real quick, and this is for anybody, you Chip, because you're going to say something, but and that is that we're going to have more corn according to the government, 165.2 bushels per acre. Does that mean that we're going to have enough that if we increase the blend on ethanol, we can't use it all up?
Well, this increase in the ethanol blend, and Jim can address the idea of whether or not it's going to happen or not, but even if it does happen, it does not increase total demand for corn or for ethanol. And the reason is very simple. At 10%, at a 10% blend, it's tough to get to that mandated usage pace. By moving it to a 15% blend, it just gets it easier to get to the same point. So whether you're blending at 10% or 15%, that's the amount that you're going to use. But by blending at 15%, it's just easier to get to that mandated blend level or usage level. So it doesn't actually increase demand for corn or for soybeans, or corn or for ethanol. Yeah.
Well, that surprises
it doesn't
me a
because
little
it just
bit.
goes to the mandated level.
Right now we have excess capacity in the industry.
In the ethanol.
We got plants that are still idle that'll still need to come on.
Yeah, but if they're going to start a business, they got to buy corn, don't they?
But by the end of 2010, those plants will be needed,
right?
So that we can, not even by the end of 2010, Jim. It's April or something like that. So those plants have to be in production so that we will make enough ethanol to get to the mandated usage pace.
Well, maybe we're talking about something not going to happen anyway. Jim, your time.
By June, the Environmental Protection Agency, who funded the issue in December, said that they will make an announcement May or June. And even though at relatively high levels, I will tell you at EPA, they're not for ethanol. They will come out and probably approve the 15% level. That's just battle number one. It would be an easy prediction to me that if they were to allow up to 15% blend, it will be based on car years 2001 and later, so there's a labeling issue at the pump, and also it will be litigated in the courts, so it won't be implemented right away.
And the structural impact is ethanol in the last 5 years has had a 45-degree upline. Every year we got better, more ethanol. Now we're getting to a point where we're starting to top over that curve. It will be 4.3, 4.4, but it won't be the same growth curve, which has been a very powerful demand side of the corn market.
Well, it's really simple to figure out what your corn for ethanol demand is going to be. Look at the mandated usage pace.
Yep.
That's all you have to look at.
Okay, we'll look at it. We'll be back with more U.S. Farm Report in just a moment.